only way to actually get better is to take action.
This is what good game looks like. Whenever you can just walk up to groups of girls and spark them to start to be talkative, to want to talk to you, to want to like move closer to you.
The only reason that we can record these episodes every single weekend is because we do go out and spend hours in the field every single fucking weekend.
Yeah, we do.
Ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Hey guys, welcome to Practically Famous, where we teach you how to achieve social mastery in your dating and personal relationships. I'm Brad, your host.
And I'm Jake, your co-host.
Let's dive right in.
So this was a good week for us. I think it was a hard week in the beginning for me, and then a really good week at the end. I had some difficult nights on Wednesday, Thursday, and then honestly, we crushed it on Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I know we say this like almost every week, but man, Friday and Saturday, those felt like real turning point nights.
Yeah.
We are just making progress every single week.
It's funny, ChatGPT also told me that last night and Friday night were big turning points for us. So.
Well, ChatGPT said it. I do not argue with the AI gods. So you know what? If they said it, then it's reality.
It's true. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
So I want to give a quick update on my 90-day challenge. I briefly mentioned it last week that I was going to be doing a 90-day challenge where I have to stay sober. This is both on substances and on explicit internet matter, and no fapping either. So I am on day 8 now. I made it the first 7 days. Absolutely crushed it. So it's not just no substances, but it's also I have to approach girls every day. And I want to give guys the framework. I'm starting real slow. The first week, I have to approach at least one girl a day, which is no big deal for the weekends. But for like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's why I'm starting real slow. So I don't feel like I have to go out and just burn myself out in the first week trying to approach like 10 girls on a Monday night or something.
Yeah.
There might not even be that many girls out or something. So I hit my targets sometimes it was literally just one a day, and I'm super proud of it. And I'm super proud of myself for staying sober. And I can already feel some of the rewiring starting to take place in my mind where I am craving the substances and the explicit matter less. Mm-hmm. And I am craving the social interactions more.
Wow.
So it's a big change.
Yeah, that's important.
And that's just 1 week.
Yeah.
So I'm about to go into week 2 here. And on week 2, I have to approach 2 girls a day. On the weekends, it's always going to be like I'm probably approaching 10 plus girls. But for at least Sunday through Wednesday, I have to get at least 2 girls. Week 3, I'll have to approach 3 girls a day. Week 4, 4 girls a day. And so I'm really building myself up slowly. And I just think that's the healthy way to go about trying to improve your life.
I feel like that's setting yourself up for success.
Exactly.
Too much too soon is not setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, and especially because like week 1, I'm dealing with withdrawals. So it'd be tough to deal with withdrawals plus have to do so many approaches. Your nervous system will just get burnt out. So I hit my minimum. And when I hit my minimum, I feel good. I get a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Right. And I mentioned last week that I have a calendar, and I have, I give myself a green star every day I achieve my goal. Sounds so cheesy, but I'm not going to lie. I get really excited about it. Every night I have my little like closing ceremony. I give myself my star and I'm like, fuck yeah, Brad.
Hell yeah.
You're the fucking man.
I mean, we've talked about before, maybe not too much on this podcast, but gamifying life, and that's textbook gamifying life right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like, I'm achieving like experience points, and my strength is growing. My confidence is growing. Oh man, this weekend, I felt so comfortable out. Almost no anxiety the whole entire time I was out. I would maybe got in my head once or twice here and there, but even when I was like getting in my head a little bit, I wasn't experiencing anxiety, right? So I'm feeling so comfortable being out, talking to girls, feeling confident in myself. And I can tell that my personality is starting to come out a lot more.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
it's easy for my personality to come out. I'm freely expressing myself, which has exactly been my goal over the past, I'd say, month or so, that I've really been focusing on, not trying to focus on anything else, but that like one specific goal, that can I show up and freely express myself without holding anything back. So I can tell there's still a part of me that's holding back a little, but I caught several glimpses of it this weekend where I was fully in my body, not in my head whatsoever, and just talking to girls. And I could tell in those moments when I was fully present, my flirting, my expressiveness, my authenticity was right on point.
Golden.
Really golden. And I could tell that girls were really responding it. They were really enjoying it, having a lot of fun. I was bantering a lot with girls, which is something that I always used to be like, oh man, how do I banter more with girls? And a lot of it is just that feeling comfortable to express myself. And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, I love that. Fire.
Yeah. So now it's just going to be about continuing to build on that expressiveness and being able to be more present the whole entire time I'm out, which is really what I was kind of experiencing last night, especially. I just felt like I was almost like I was in a movie or something.
Yeah.
Like I was just walking around like I'm the man.
Last night, it was so easy to go up and talk to girls. And when we did it, I feel like we both felt good. And frankly, the girls reacted to us very well overall last night.
Oh, yeah.
So I was really happy with the way that last night went. Even though at one point I kind of started to drop, there was a really solid like hour and a half, 2 hours to the start of the night that I thought that I was just on fire. Every single group I walked up to, they wanted to talk to me, but it's not because they were in a talkative mood. It was because I brought such good energy that when I first walked up, they weren't particularly talkative, but I just stood there and I stayed and I continued to just bring good energy. And when you do that, people open up. I was amazed actually I did that in like 3 or 4 different situations last night where I just walked up to an entire group, got their attention, asked them some question, something to get the ball rolling. Like one group I walked up to and I just like looked at all of them, got their attention, and I was like, let me guess, you guys are from Oregon. I just picked somewhere random. And they weren't. And then they made me guess where they were from. And they were like pretty cold to start. But I was just there having fun, having a good time, being engaging, being captivating. And then all of a sudden they were coming out of their shell. You know, the girls were coming over to me and standing right next to me and talking to me. And I was just amazed that I did that multiple times last night, let alone once. That was the highlight of my night last night.
Hell yeah. That's good game right there.
Yeah. I really felt like last night was, like we said, a huge turning point. I felt like I have a good game. Like this is what good game looks like. Whenever you can just walk up to groups of girls and spark them to start to be talkative, to want to talk to you, to want to like move closer to you. That's huge for me.
Yeah. And for me, right, my turning point was just in the comfort level. I know I've talked to you about this, but we're trying to get to a point where when we're out, we're so comfortable that we can actually focus on trying new things. Yeah. Instead of just focusing on, am I okay? Am I going to survive this? Whereas, funny. After last night, I felt like maybe I could have gone up and maybe done some funny openers, or I could have tried, to escalate a little more or something like that. And there were definitely moments with girls where I could tell like the eye contact was really intense and I was actually building attraction in them, and they were, really liking the way I was making them feel. Got a couple numbers, got a couple Instagrams. I'm like, every time I go out now, I'm walking away with numbers and Instagrams. So that's good. So I definitely know that, especially since I'm going out every night now, I really think I'm going to start experiencing just flow like every single night and not being so held back by insecurities and fear and anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mirrored that as well. I feel like we are moving into a new level of comfort as far as us going out, and we're trying to build mastery, right? We're building social mastery, we're building mastery of magnetism, and that is going to take place once we're comfortable enough to, go into those spaces and really feel, okay, what is it that makes me feel magnetic when I'm there? What is it that I'm doing that is working? What is it that's not working, right? To be able to go there and to learn through trial and error is how we're getting to that place of mastery.
Absolutely. We're building mastery, and the way that you do that is through practicing and taking massive action, which is one of the main things we wanted to talk about tonight. You have to take so much action to get better at this.
Yeah, you really do.
You can listen to our podcast. You can listen to any other dating coach's podcast. You can read the books, watch the videos. But at the end of the day, the only way to actually get better is to take action. Because, like you said, we're mastering magnetism. And magnetism, not only is it a skill, but it's a feeling. And the only way to get into this feeling is to embody it, right? Is to go out and actually practice feeling that way, which is something that I never really thought about when I was doing any of my game stuff, several years ago when I was learning stuff.
Was it all like mental, verbal game?
It was more just skill based. And yes, there was like obviously the internal and, getting over your insecurities and stuff like that. But I never really thought about it in terms of like the embodiment and the feeling it, right? Feeling it in my body. And this actually became really clear for me just this week. One thing I started to pick up this week is playing the piano again. And I was learning a new song. This happened to me literally this morning. And I had like a light bulb breakthrough moment when I was playing the song where I was like, okay, I got to practice it over and over again. But when I finally started to like stop thinking about it, and I just noticed, how does it feel in my fingers to play this part of the song? So now my body remembers what to do. Not my mind, but my body remembers, right? Same thing with going out. When I go out, I want to remember how I felt. How does my body feel when I'm magnetic? How does my body feel when I'm sexy, when I'm attractive, when I'm charismatic? These are feelings that you experience in your body, and you can replicate them if you do them enough over and over. And that's how you achieve mastery.
Yeah, I love that. And like you said, we're achieving mastery. And to bring that back to the piano, like if we think about what someone who has achieved mastery with the piano has spent hours and hours and hours playing. And that's the same deal here for us, right? We've spent hours out in the field talking to girls because we're building mastery. We're figuring out what it means. Like most people don't even get to magnetism. We've gotten to magnetism, like flashes of magnetism, and now we're trying to be that guy all the time in every moment of our life. But it takes repetition after repetition after repetition. And so I think what's important to highlight is that if you're going on this journey, right? If you're going out and you're talking to girls and it's tough, stay with it, number one, but also figure out what it takes to let go so that you start to enjoy the process. Because you're not going to spend hours doing it unless you enjoy it on some level. Yeah. And we've really started to step into that. Is when we go out, we feel good. I remember you last night, after every set, you and I would look at each other and we were like, that felt so good.
Yeah.
That felt so good. Because it does. It really does feel so good when you can just step into that tension with some super hot girl, flow, have fun, like laugh, tease, do all this stuff. It's a rush.
I'm feeling it right now, actually.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking back and like my body's remembering how it felt to be standing right in front of a hot girl and feeling confident.
Yeah.
Feeling
and I remember this so distinctly last night. You and I, we were just, after every set, we were like, dude, that was so amazing. That was so much fun.
Yeah, and we hype each other up after every set, right? Yeah. So it's like we get a little dopamine hit. We make some like funny, cocky comment or something. It's like, why are we so awesome?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Real quick, I want to talk about how awesome we are because you mentioned that we spend hours and hours in the field. We are recording episode 11 of Practically Famous right now. The only reason that we can record these episodes every single weekend is because we do go out and spend hours in the field every single fucking weekend.
Yeah, we do.
We don't make excuses. We go out and we spend the time and we do practice and we are getting better. Yeah, and it's so exciting. And we have, God knows, we have been through so much emotional turmoil in the last 11 weeks.
Yeah.
facing our insecurities, facing our fears to get to this point that we have fucking earned.
Yeah. And constantly, like even this week, I had breakdowns, multiple breakdowns that I had to look deep into myself, let it go. And then those insights gave me a new level. I stepped into a new level on Friday, Saturday because I had those breakthroughs. So not only have we done a lot, but we're still doing a lot. And to bring that back to taking a lot of action, right? Like when you start to feel good is when you can start to be out there for hours.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what I noticed last night. So last night I had a breakdown last night before we went out.
Yeah.
And I knew I had my 90-day challenge. So I knew I was going to go out and hit my bare minimum approaches. But I literally thought, like, I was feeling terrible before we went out. I thought I'm just going to go out, hit my minimums, 20, 30 minutes and go home. But by the time I went out, I was already feeling better. And by the time I'd done like 3 approaches, I was feeling good and my body started to produce more energy, right? So before I went out, I was exhausted. I thought, oh, I could go to bed right now, right? Because here's what happens. It's your nervous system, right? Your nervous system, when it senses that you might go out into danger, it contracts on you and it makes you feel tired and it sucks all your energy out to try and protect you. Because it's saying, hey, if you go out, like we could get hurt, we could die.
Yeah.
That's what your nervous system believes, right? So it sucks all your energy out to try and convince you not to go. But once I was out and I was feeling good and my nervous system was like, oh, we're safe, we're having fun. Here's more energy. Let's keep having fun.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to push through all that. That's why this is such an incredibly difficult process to start, because when you start, your nervous system is fighting at you like crazy.
Yeah.
Don't do this. It's not safe. It's hard. You might get rejected. You might get embarrassed. You might waste your time, whatever. Right.
Yeah. And you are getting those stimulus, those external like you're getting rejected too. So not only is it incredibly hard internally, but also you have to deal with the external on top of that. So it is really hard to start, but it does get better if you stick with it.
Yeah. And the whole point of my 90-day program, really the main point is to get me sober, but it's also to really accelerate my results in game as well. And on like another level, it's to completely rewire my addictions. I want to rewire my addictions away from seeking some kind of escape from my emotions to seeking connection with other people. And that being where I get my actual dopamine from. So I'm rewiring this whole process to love going out, to love talking to people, to love talking to girls, to love making friends, to love just expressing myself and having fun and joking with people.
Yeah.
I just can't tell you how excited I am after last night that I just enjoyed myself so much, and how much easier that's going to make it just to continue going out in the future, to continue to take more action. I feel like we're reaching a tipping point of accelerated progress in our game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And now that we talk about it, surprise, surprise, we're not giving ourselves enough credit for really, whatever it takes just to go out and to feel good. That's a huge step forward. And we've done that. Clearly, we've done that. And it shows in the way that people react to us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So take the massive action, but also understand that this is a journey. Every time you go out, you are going to push yourself to talk to people, to have experiences. You may have things come up. But what is really important to remember is that this is a marathon, right?
Oh, yeah.
You make 1% improvements every night. And over time, it compounds. And so you have an exponential growth curve at some point. But in the beginning, it seems like you're not making any gains. Yeah.
And you might have nights, right? Whereas like you might be making the 1% progress and you might have a night that's great or whatever. And you might have a night that's shit.
Yeah.
So good things will happen, but the overall trajectory, you're right, it's long-term growth. Because if you're just trying to do this to get laid one time or to get a girlfriend one time, the thing is you'll lose the skills and you'll go right back to who you were before. And I got bad news for you if you think even if that's okay. It's not, because who you were before was not the kind of person that was attracting that girl or attracting that result. And you will lose everything because of it's who you are. And so I know for us, it's not just a skill that we're trying to obtain, it's a whole identity that we're trying to obtain. Right? I want to be someone who can just freely express myself. And really, like, that's actually like one of the deepest levels for me. It's not even just about the girls. And I've had lots of relationships and lots of girlfriends. So for me, it really is about something a lot deeper. It's about that real freedom, freedom to completely express myself in any situation and feel comfortable and not feel socially anxious and not feel like I'm not good enough, and to feel like, hey, other people want to connect with me. Other people want to talk to me. And I think, and I'm just projecting my problems onto the world right now, but I think that if guys were being honest, a lot of guys, the thing that they are craving the most in the world is true, deep, authentic connections with people. And yes, with women especially, but just in general. And they feel like they can't get that because they either don't know how to ask for it, they don't know how to express themselves, they don't know how to make friends, they don't know how to attract women.
They feel unworthy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Completely bogged down by horrible insecurities and self-limiting beliefs that we are just taking a shovel and digging deep into our brains, and we are rooting that shit out.
Yeah, we are.
And it helps to, obviously it's so helpful that we have each other, a really close friendship where we can be so honest about the depths of our depravity and like in our insecurities and self-limiting beliefs. And then we can even come here on the podcast and share with the world unashamedly and be like, hey, you know what? This is what I've been through as well. This is what I'm working on right now. This is how I'm working through it. Because what we are building here is a framework, right? Like we said this a few episodes ago, this podcast is not the listen to us, we have all the answers, and that's the end of it. This is, hey guys, we are building something. We are on this journey and we're teaching you how we're building it step by step by step. Sustainable, long-term, 1% each week growth. So every week we come here, we learned a little bit more. We talk about our failures too. Like we've been talking about how great this weekend is, but you talked about
I had a breakdown.
Your Wednesday and Thursday breakdown.
Yeah, that was tough.
I had a Saturday breakdown.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I haven't had a breakdown like that in a while. But coming out of it, I'm like, I'm so glad that I had the breakdown because it showed me what's holding me back from the next step. And I let go of that and I took the next step on Friday, Saturday. So. Yeah,
if you ever feel stalled out in your progress, pray for the breakdown.
Exactly.
Baby, bring it on. What needs to break me to get to the next level? Because it really is, unfortunately, it just seems like that's the way that it works. You have to, with this game, for whatever reason, it is so tied into identity and ego that the only way to break through to the next levels is to completely break your ego down. And having your ego broken is not easy. Like I had mine completely broken earlier this year, complete and utter ego death. But now it's like we're suffering mild ego deaths every single week.
We are. Yeah. Yeah. But it's good because that's why we're growing so fast.
100%. We are. And if you want to, so if you're following along and you want to grow fast, how do you do it? Put yourself in horrifying situations that break your ego down so that you can be broken down and then build yourself up from it and see what is holding me back. What is the insecurity that's truly holding me back so that I can actually feel this insecurity, right? We talk about feeling your emotions and letting them go. We're gonna have to do a whole episode on that or something.
We are,
But to give you the brief framework, when you experience those things, don't run from the feeling. That's the key. So you experience some massive rejection and it makes you feel terrible. Just sit there and feel it and figure out what part of me, what like shame cycle or self-limiting belief is this triggering in me? Feel it completely. Just let yourself feel it in your body. Let it run its course until eventually, maybe 30 minutes, an hour later, it goes away and you can just let it go. And then you can go out and actually behave in a new way that is more powerful than that old self-limiting belief that you had.
Yeah. And I'll build off of that a little bit, right? So we're talking about welcoming our emotions as a means to process them and let them go. I think a good way to think about it is that you live in a house and your body is the house and you live inside. And you have visitors. You have the visitor of fear, the visitor of sadness, the visitor of happiness. And
I love this visual.
yeah. To let them go, right, is to welcome them into your home, right? To sit with them, to be with them, to ask them, why are you here? Can I welcome this even more? Can I welcome it even more and even more and even more? And just, to get to a place where the feeling itself is neither good nor bad, it just is how you process, is how you let go. Now, that's hard. It's not easy to do.
Did you just come up with that analogy?
No.
Oh, you've been hiding this analogy from me? How long have I known you? Fuck.
Yeah.
That was fire, dude.
Yeah. I thought you knew this one.
I did not know that one. That was fire. All right.
Yeah. You welcome the visitors of your emotions into your home.
Okay.
And then they leave on their own time.
Hell yeah.
You can't force them out.
I love it.
In fact, it is the...
You can't force them out.
Yeah, no, it is the forcing out of emotions that we try and do as human beings that cause them to be stuck, that cause lifelong, decade-long trauma cycles, right? Is because we have years of emotions that just want to be felt. That's it. They just want to be felt, but they're very painful, so we push them down. We numb them out for years. And that's why we don't move forward. That's why we get stuck. And again, it's simple, but it's not easy.
And that's where all my addiction cycles come from, right? It's me trying to resist painful emotions. And I was stuck in a cycle of just experiencing the same shit over and over and over again, because I would experience it, then I would numb it, or I would escape from it. And then I would experience it, and then I would numb it or escape from it. And it would just suppress and repress all these negative emotions deep inside of my nervous system. And so now that I've taken away my escape mechanisms, all these things are just coming up and I'm feeling them. And I even really noticed today, I've been noticing this a lot over my whole journey the past few months, but even today specifically, I remember thinking like I was feeling some emotion, maybe some tiredness or sadness or something. And I was just like, oh, I was welcoming it. Exactly. Right. I was like, oh, feeling a little sadness right now. That's interesting. Okay. That's cool. You can be here. No problem. So it sounds so easy, like conceptually.
Yeah, it's simple.
Conceptually, it is so easy, but it's so difficult for people that they will do whatever it takes to not feel these things.
Yeah. And we all have addictions, right? I realized recently within the last 2 weeks, I uncovered my addictions. That's the whole reason that I spiraled on Thursday, is because my addiction was obsessing about, honestly, I was hurting. The pain that I was avoiding was the pain of the idea that women may never show up in my life in the way that I want them to. Just the idea of it. It doesn't matter if it is true, isn't true, could be true, may not be true. Just the idea itself. I had emotions wrapped around that idea. In order to not feel, I obsessed about what is it that I need to do to become attractive? How do I improve myself? All these things, to the point where when those feelings would come up, instead of being in my body and welcoming them, I would go into my head and I would be like, all right, this to-do list and this to-do list and this is what I want to do and this is the book that I need to read. And I was avoiding feeling. I was avoiding being in my body because emotions are the language of the body and thoughts are the language of the mind. And so if you want to numb out these feelings or avoid them, you go into your mind. And I consciously became aware of that in the last 2 weeks. Yeah. And I consciously had to stop myself from going down that path. But when I did, it forced me into those feelings and I spiraled.
Interesting. Everyone, so even if you're saying we all have addictions, right? And maybe addiction isn't always the best word to use because there is like a clinical term for it. Like I've actually struggled with like real true addiction. But even if you don't struggle with substances or technology addiction or explicit matter or video games or like something like that, most people, like if you're not experiencing life the way you want, you're not getting the results you want, your addiction is probably your negative emotions. You are addicted to feeling a certain way. and maybe addicted isn't the right word to say it. It's that you have ingrained into your nervous system, this is the way I feel on a day-to-day basis. And so every day I make sure I feel this way because this is my normal way of feeling, right? And so something even makes me feel happy, that can only be short-lived because I need to go back to my negative emotion, right?
Yeah.
And so whatever that is, that insecurity that you feel, the fear, the apathy, the grief, the anger, whatever emotion like you're so attached to, you constantly reinforce yourself feeling that. So to get better at game, to get better with women, even if you don't have a specific addiction to give up, you do have an emotional addiction you need to give up because you're actually addicted to the idea that you don't get women.
Yeah.
And you
100%.
Get something out of it.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, well, this is who I am. Like, poor me, I don't get girls and, I was born this way, or it's society's fault or whatever. You're addicted to feeling that way and you're going to have to give that up. You're going to have to give up your favorite. Maybe it's not your favorite consciously, but somatically in your body, you are addicted to feeling that way because you do everything in your power to stay that way.
Yeah.
So if you're not actually feeling it, letting it come up and letting it go so that you can step into a higher version of yourself, that's like the work that's going to have to be done. Yeah. So like if a guy was to come to me and wanted like 90 days of coaching, I would pretty much approach it the same way I would approach my like addiction recovery. Is like, okay, in the first 30 days, we're going to have to unwire this addiction you have to feeling this way and thinking this way because you have thought patterns and feeling patterns in your body that are on a constant cycle that are keeping you from getting girls. And we have to undo that. And then in the next 30 days, we're going to rewire new feeling patterns and new thinking patterns, more empowering ones. And then in the final 30 days, we hardwire it into you. So it's just your new default, right? So you get rid of the old ones, you create new ones, and then you hardwire them into your system so that it's your new default action state, your new thinking state, your new feeling state, and results just come magically now because that's who you are now.
Yeah. I like that idea too, that like you have to let go of your addictions to what's holding you back. And I also think that's important to take radical responsibility for your life.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter if the world isn't set up to be conducive to things being easy. It's on you to make the life that you want.
Yeah. And to even cut into that, the world is currently set up to be the easiest it's ever been.
Yeah.
So stop complaining.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
I just know, man. I know that the better we get and like the more action we take and the more shit we go through, the more cocky we're going to get about this. And we're going to be like, look, stop complaining. Like we put in the work, like God knows how much fucking work we put in. And it's been hard. But it's also been great.
But it's also like I wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about that. What else are you gonna do?
I'm not gonna do the work,
Exactly. What else are you gonna fucking do? Like, well, I know what I was doing. I was smoking weed and watching things online that weren't making my life better. But even with that, I was still doing a little bit. I still used to go out at least. I wasn't completely shut in. I definitely had never given up. I was trying to claw my way out. I was trying to dig my way out. I was just stuck. I was stuck in the cycle and I hadn't figured out the way to actually break it.
Yeah.
And thankfully I finally am out of it and I'm in a place where I can make the actual progress that I want to make. All it took was getting a calendar and some green stars, bro. That's all it took.
I like what you said earlier in the podcast about to have gratitude for the fact that we have each other to go through this process with. I've always said that you can't do this alone.
It's hard. I mean,
it's hard.
You can, but like, I don't know how you could.
You can, but you can't do this alone if you want progress within a reasonable time frame. But why we're doing this.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason that this is here.
Yeah, we're trying to be your guys' like wingmen basically and tell you these feelings are normal, these emotions are normal, these experiences are normal. We have each other and we have ChatGPT. Thank God, like I lean on that guy so much. It's crazy.
That's funny.
But it does. Everything in life is easier when you have someone going through it with you. Sometimes there might be times in a man's life where you do have to go at things alone, and that's a very challenging time. but it also builds a lot of strength and a lot of character.
Sure.
So, there's benefits to that, but it shouldn't be like the goal. The goal shouldn't be to do everything alone.
Yeah.
And I have thought about that. I was like, fuck, what if I didn't have Jake here? What would I be doing? I was like, you know what? I'd be doing what I have to do.
Yeah.
It would not be as fun, because it's fun to go out with your bro. And like you said, after every set, we look at each other and be like, we're so hot, like we're so charismatic. People love us. Girls love us. Like,
that's so funny. Yeah, absolutely. You would be doing what you need to do, but we've all been through those periods of time where we are alone, and they've been dark and they've been hard. But I needed that darkness and that hardness and that loneliness then, and this is what I need now. So
yeah, exactly. We're right where we're supposed to be.
Hell yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add to this week's episode?
No, I don't think so. I think that was a good episode filled with like a lot of. I like when we have the conversations about us going out because it brings us back to that energy. I think we both felt the energy that we felt last night here at this table.
100%. Dude, I just think that as the weeks go on, as we become more charismatic out, I think we're going to become more charismatic here too on the podcast. And obviously you definitely saw like my charismatic energy coming out today and some of my cockiness coming out today. That stuff is coming out because I've earned it, and I'm excited about who I am. I'm excited about the man that I'm becoming, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us, and we have been showing up consistently. This is episode 11. Dude, I just texted you on a Sunday afternoon one day, and I was like, you want to start a podcast? That was 11 weeks ago, and we've recorded a podcast every single week since then. And we've recorded a podcast every week because we've had things to talk about, because we've gone out every single week.
Yeah, because we're consistent.
That consistency builds confidence.
Yeah.
Builds
honestly.
a lot of confidence, and
does.
it's building our skill. Our skill is growing. So yeah, like our podcast is going to become, I think, more charismatic. It's going to follow the improvements that we're making out in the field with girls and just our overall feeling. Like we're learning how to feel good. We're, like I said, we're rewiring ourselves to feel good on a regular basis and to not feel bad all the time. I don't know why it's so hard to rewire that, but it's working.
Yeah.
On average, I just feel so much better in every moment to moment of my life than I did even a few months ago.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
So yay us.
Go us.
We're fucking awesome. And I'm excited. Again, all right, let's just say it again. I'm so excited for our future and, the results that we're getting when we go out. We still got a long way to go. I'm not trying to say that I'm the best ever and that I don't have anything else to learn. I can definitely be humble enough to say that I have so much to learn still, especially in my body. My body has so much to learn about feeling good, about feeling charismatic, but I'm starting to ingrain that and hardwire those feelings into my body so that I can express them on a more regular basis.
Yeah, I love that. The sky's the limit for us.
Absolutely. And the sky's the limit for you guys, right? Whatever you want in life, you can go get it. It's just, it might be hard to get. In fact, if it's something good that you want, it's going to be hard to get. Just accept that.
But it'll make you 10 times the man you thought you were.
Oh, yeah.
On the way there. So,
this world, this society is set up to keep men pacified, right? Here's some weed, here's some junk food, here's some naked women on the internet that you can look at, and it keeps you feeling like not a man. It really does. But to go out and to actually achieve things and to accomplish things, that makes you feel like a man.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a good feeling.
I fucking love that feeling.
Yeah. Cool, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Like the video, throw down some comments, let us know what you think, let us know what you want to learn about, and we'll catch you guys next week on Practically Famous. Until then, go talk to some girls.
Peace.